Hi everybody, it's Graham Coath and it's another My Music. It's that time of Friday afternoon when you've just, you've had lunch, you're thinking it's not long now to the end of the working week, and you're thinking maybe I can just sneak and look at this on my PC before the boss notices and catch something a bit more entertaining on the Friday afternoon. So in a minute, I'm going to be speaking to Tamlin. I'll ask her which name she wants to go by, actually, as well, about her life in music. In particular, I want to know what she's doing with one of these. But first, this.
I need to get going, Mel. See you later.
Right then, challenger. First time ever that anyone's ever had a neck stand fight on air. Because you've got a neck stand. That's brilliant, isn't it? How do you know? How do you know about neck stand?
Sam has been putting it in my face for a year.
Literally like that. Look at this.
Yeah. Because I knew Sam for many years, and then she started neck stand, and I haven't been using it until I started traveling, and I realized how amazing it is to actually sit properly with the computer up ergonomically correct.
It's so important. Otherwise, we will all develop into this kind of other being with a hunch coming out of our back, and we'll end up like zombies like this.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a gamer too, so I'm totally going down that path.
Really? You're a gamer as well. What kind of games do you play?
A lot of RPG. The latest one I just finished, Divinity Original Sin.
Wow.
It's a super long turn-based RPG.
Well, I'm going to have to get you over to our Discord channel, our Discord server, to for chats and stuff, because obviously loads of gamers hang out there.
Cool.
You on Discord at the moment?
I have Discord, but I don't check it regularly.
Yeah, you don't check it. Yeah, you see, like loads of people don't check these things. Have all of these different platforms. That's the way of the world these days. Let's talk music. You've been in music for the whole of your life, it seems.
Pretty much, yeah. So my mom has told me that I grew up just dancing and singing to Disney music, which I don't quite remember, but she said that I would record myself on those super old camcorder, if anyone remembers that.
Yeah,
so
of course we do.
Recording,
with the actual tape, with tapes. Before
the little
digital.
tape. Yep. I am that
Absolutely.
old.
Well, do you know what? Some of us are old enough that the tapes in video recorders were this big. Okay, so you're not that old. You're not that old. If they were little tapes, then you're not that old, right? So you're talking like
I'm in the
8,
little tape like era.
Yeah, Super 8, that sort of thing. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. So you always liked performing then as well, if you were making videos and stuff. And you're very visual as an artist anyway. So is that kind of side always been there as well, that you want to not just make sound but put something visual to it as well?
I think so, because I suppose I could say that I do every single thing related to art, because I was an illustrator. Like in high school and university, I had a freelance side job as a character illustrator, and I did some album covers and book covers as well. And then I studied animation, like 3D computer animation, for 2 years, and had a job at a game studio doing animation and character design. And I was into acting for a while. I did musical theater. So I really enjoy like every aspect of art, and I think they're all related. Like when I write music at the moment, I feel like the music is the background. It's like the soundtrack for the lyrics, and the lyrics is like poetry, right? And then the
Yeah.
visuals amplify the message of the lyrics and the music, so everything all work together, and like the whole is what's that saying called, that the sum of the parts is
Some of
greater,
the parts,
the
yeah,
whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Yeah, so I
indeed.
feel like when everything work together, like all aspects, the sound, the visuals, the lyrics, then it amplifies what I'm trying to communicate so
It
much better.
gets the message over much more clearly. Sam is actually watching. Hi,
Oh,
Sam.
hi.
Good to
Do you
see
see
you.
our next stand fight, Sam?
Yeah, she probably did. She probably did. She probably get told off for that later, because you're not meant to be fighting with these things. And we'll talk about Sam a bit later as well when we come up to date with your music, because I know she's appeared maybe in some of your videos, maybe hidden away, but she's had some involvement there.
Yeah, not quite hidden. So I have 2 solo music videos so far that I directed, and I recruited all of my friends to act in it for free food. And Sam was one of them.
I would have been there for free food and drink. That's it. What more do you want? And the chance obviously to hang out with you and be involved in the music video as well. It's not something you get asked to do every day. So Disney was the starting point. Do you still remember any of the Disney songs, by the way?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You have a favorite Disney song?
Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm a girl who has everything? Little Mermaid, for sure.
Oh, no, that is so good. That is so good. So what after Disney, what was the next thing for you? What was the big thing musically that then took you on the start of your journey?
Well, I really appreciate my parents. They got me into singing and piano lessons. So I was actually trained classically to sing like an opera soprano singer. And then when I was
hard work, or did you enjoy it?
I don't quite remember.
Oh, right. It couldn't have been that painful.
I was
then.
like 5. I started when I was around 5. So it was just like one of those activities like, you just sing in class for a while. It's kind of fun, and you don't really practice at home that much. You didn't take it seriously.
But you learn how to breathe properly though doing that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's the main thing. Yeah. So you really got into the technical side of singing.
Yeah, so that part helped a lot with like singing and how to sing without ruining your voice. Although I think I did ruin my voice for a while, because I later on in life I joined a rock band, and in in one of the one of the event we performed at, there was this female, like a woman singer, who was screaming, like legit screaming with a screamo voice, and I was like, that's so cool. How do you do that? So I was trying to practice like for quite a long time how to scream, but I wasn't doing it properly. So I may have ruined my voice a little bit there. But yeah, I think techniques is quite important, especially if you're singing, or like, I suppose my song, you need a stronger vocal because I sing very heavy, I guess fierce kind of song that's more energetic. Yeah, so you do need proper techniques.
Well, look, the 2 singing techniques are quite different, aren't they? I mean, operatic singing or any kind of classical singing with very diaphragm based singing, as opposed to a lot of rock based singing, or rock stroke pop based singing, where it comes more from the throat.
Yeah,
and it's
definitely.
getting the it's getting the mix between the two and protecting the throat, particularly in terms of singing with, you know, trying to get a little bit of gravel in your voice, or get a little bit of edge in your voice when you're singing.
Yeah, like the more belting kind of sound for rock vocal.
Exactly.
Yeah, the classical singers don't really encourage that.
No,
but yeah.
No, you know, and if you've got, you know, and if you're trying to, you know, control things like vibrato in your voice, etc. I mean, with classical trained vocalists, it's much more controlled vibrato, whereas with anyone that sings rock, it's far less controlled. So I guess somewhere in that, you know, doing that work with the band was Beyond Apollo, correct?
Yes. Beyond Apollo.
Yeah. Somewhere within that, did you strike a happy balance between the two in terms of techniques?
I guess when I was doing rock music, I wasn't practicing any classical style of singing at all until a few years. I think it was after Beyond Apollo disbanded in 2015. Actually, I had an interest in classical singing again, and I went back to a classical singing teacher to like get her to correct my classical techniques. So it has been coming back a little bit, but I would say right now I'm much better at the belting rock vocal.
Yeah, but you know, but with elements of the classical in there, which is, you know, which is
I still have the choir parts in the song.
Absolutely. And in terms of instrumentation and how you write, how do you go about writing your music?
So this time around, I want to write something around what I want my listeners to think about. Because I think, to give it a bit of a background and a weird story, is that I used to think that music or lyrics needs to be something something emotional and personal. And I would say that I've never really been an emotional person, but I've been like I guess, more logical, someone that thinks a lot about philosophical questions and all those things. And when I started writing music myself, I thought that I had to write something emotional because that's all I was exposed to. Like, you didn't really have YouTube or Spotify back then. You only get the top 40s, and everything was like about love or breakup and relationships. And
I
then
get it. So
wrote
you
a
thought
song.
you had to be crying or, you know, upset yourself or before it came out.
So I wrote a song about an imaginary breakup, someone leaving me. And then I went to perform that. I had an opportunity to perform at a radio station. And I remember the radio host saying, "Oh, so that must be so personal for you, like personal experience. Can you tell us about it?" And I was like, "No, that wasn't about me." And then the host was like, "What?" So I realized that this time around, when I started writing solo music again, last year actually, I realized that why not just be myself if I'm not a super emotional person or not wanting to write about my relationships, then just don't do it. But since I studied psychology, I read a lot of philosophy, I think that my mission in music is to get people to ask important questions about their lives through music. So the lyrics is the front and center for me. Each lyrics of the song is like an exploration of different philosophy or questions that I want people to think about. For example, the first song that I just released today, actually, a few hours ago, is about someone who would want to win at all costs and losing their humanity in the process. So it's a question for my listeners to think about whether are they living their lives that way? Are they sacrificing their humanity or their own well-being to succeed at all costs? So it's something like that. I would come up with a concept or something that I want my listeners to think about first. Then I would choose all the instruments or the melody, the music, the background music behind it to amplify the message. So when I think of someone who wants to win at all costs, I would think of someone like really fierce and angry and kind of anxious and nervous. And I would think, okay, so what kind of instruments would communicate that sound? And in my head, it would be something like very angrily, sharply played strings. And it has to be something low strings like cello or bass. And that's what I use in the video, in this song, as well as like war drums. I use taiko drums, the big Japanese drums, because it's like going to war and like getting winning, getting to the top. So that's why I chose those instruments, like to amplify the message in the lyrics, and the visuals, the video as well. Like everything ties in together. Like when I write something, both the lyrics, the music, and the visuals comes together, like comes to me, comes out of me all at once.
And it's incredibly strong. It's an incredibly strong image that you have. I mean, and the song "To Win, Will You Give Up," which is the one that we're talking about. I just put that in there just in case people want to go and check it out in a minute, because of course they will. But actually, in doing what you've done, I think actually the emotion comes across even more. So even though actually you've stopped trying to write from a self-emotional perspective, you know, you're not trying to think, oh, I've got to get myself into this state of being upset, depressed. You know, I've got to get into a bad relationship, break up with somebody in order to write the next thing that resonates with people. Actually, I can just be the philosophical person, you know, trying to get people to think about this by actually taking that slightly detached view, but channeling a voice, because that's what you're doing in a way, is you're channeling a voice of question in there. Yeah. You're kind of play acting in a way. There's a lot of acting in there, I'd say.
Yeah.
Is that you're actually creating a more emotional resonance, which I think is really cool. You know,
yeah.
So in a way, do you feel like a playwright? Do you feel as much of a playwright as a songwriter?
I suppose so, but only for my music video. Like I'm horrible with spoken words. Like if I had to act or write spoken words, then I can't do it. But when it comes to music and like the concept for the music, then yeah, because in this video I was the director as well. Like I wrote all of the scenes, like what the character should be wearing, what they should look like, drew all the storyboards, and yeah, basically being the OCD director to get the vision that I want out there.
Did you enjoy that role?
Yeah, it was really.
You're allowed to say yes.
Definitely,
I'll ask Sam when I next speak to her. You know, what was Tamlin like? Was she a bit of a taskmaster on the day? But you know, if you've obviously got a very clear vision about what you want to put out there, and therefore it makes sense that you take control of that, etc. I mean, and how much does that echo your life outside of music as well? Because I know you're a successful businesswoman as well. I mean, is there similarities between the two?
Yeah, I suppose. Well, I did draw inspiration-ish from my own life, because I guess while I'm not the type that would totally crush everyone and kill everyone in the way, but for a while, because currently I run my own tech company, and previously I was a business development person for another consultancy, and I would say during that job I was really obsessed with winning clients and getting clients winning big deals no matter what, and saying whatever I had to say to close the deals. And I became miserable in the process. So that did motivate me a little bit with that song. And like when I was playing the characters in the video, I was remembering that feeling of wanting to win so much while playing the characters and amplifying that. So it came from an example from my life and amplified it through acting. And I just remember now that when I was acting that role, right? Because that the person, the character in the video is someone who's wanting to win so much that like she would keep tensing up. So I was tensing up myself to like appear angry, to like tensing my jaw, tensing my whole body throughout the whole shoot. Then after the shoot ended, my body was sore for 2 weeks afterwards.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
And then let's
For the
talk about
art.
let's talk about the next song that's going to follow on from this. I've had the video shot already, and thank you for letting me have a look at that. Come On Little Humans. Now that's an amazing song.
Oh, thank you. It's a very weird song, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't like the word weird. I like the word. I like the word Graham. It's a very Graham song.
That's true.
It's just the kind of thing. It's just the kind of theme that I would listen to, and the reason it's kind of thing because it doesn't sit into any. And I've said this to you off of here. It doesn't sit into any genre. In fact, it messes with genres. It sort of flits between one genre and another within the song, if you like, or style within the song itself. It's in a way it could almost be part of a big theatre production as well. It's as much as a pop song as it could be a show song. How? Why? Talk to me about it.
Yeah, I call it the whatever comes out of my head genre.
I like it.
It is whatever comes out of my head. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why. I suppose it's the same kind of process as the other song, that this is the message that I want to talk about. So this second song, Come On Little Human, is about how society or schools or parents or like mindless TV shows can brainwash kids not to think for themselves and not ask important questions and just basically do whatever is told. And I felt like it has to be a little bit childish or kids-ish sounding. That's why I use a lot of bells and kind of upbeat tube bar that sounds kind of funny and circus-ish and musical theater-ish. But also I use chords that sound a bit uncanny enough, so it's not completely happy.
I'm gonna say now that I think if anybody's watching this that's within my music channel, if you want a reference point, because I'm struggling to think of a reference point, but if you wanted a reference point, there's elements of the visual that are a little bit like Pink Floyd's The Wall. Have you seen Pink Floyd's The Wall?
Yeah. I saw
We Don't Need No Education.
Video. Oh yeah. I actually saw it after I made the video because I sent it to a friend, and then he said, "Oh, have you seen this video?" And I watched it and was like, "Oh yeah, that's cool."
Yeah, so you know the reference that I'm talking about there.
So it was inspired by 1984, the book and the movie of that specific part. And the first part was inspired by Stepford Wives, where like everything's perfect and people care about looks.
So they're going to have a load of people now go and check out this video when it finally arrives, which is how long's kind of a gap between the launch of the first one, which is out today, and the next one?
I haven't set a launch date yet, but I would say 1 month from now.
So what
to
people
give
need to do is
myself
make sure they
time.
subscribe to your YouTube channel, and then it will happen when
Yep.
it happens. So let's hope we get your YouTube channel subscriptions up after this, with people thinking, oh, I've got to go and watch that video. You see, when that comes out. So inspiration wise for you, I mean, have there been along the road? I mean, you as I say, you've been in a band which was very, it was a heavy band with a guy that could sort of do the rap type vocal and the screamo vocals as well, kind of Evanescence type, feel to it, etc. And now you're doing this solo stuff, which is kind of all over the place in terms of genres, which is it's wonderful. And and you're kind of right up there with the very avant-garde, I'd say, artists that really plow their own field. And I mentioned to you before, people like Björk or Tori Amos, or that kind of strong female singer that really has a clear idea of voice, and then the genre doesn't really matter. It's all about getting that message and that theatric out to prove to get people thinking about something.
Although I hope I'm not in the avant-garde category, because I hope that people do listen and think about the lyrics, that it's kind of get in their brain and not just like a super out there art form. Yeah,
some of it's out there, but it's accessible. It's accessible.
True.
I don't think Björk or Tori Amos have done badly in terms of accessibility or record sales. I mean, in terms of inspiration along the lines, as you've been going on, who have been inspirational to you in terms of music artists?
So I have people that truly inspired me, but their music sound nothing like mine.
That's great.
I think I told you about Aurora. She's a Norwegian artist, and her songs are so inspirational, and they just like touch you in a human way. I don't really know how to describe it.
You must have been so pleased when she did Disney. Yeah, bringing that
I
back
actually
full
found
circle.
her. I found her from Disney.
From Frozen.
From Frozen, yeah. I was like, who is this person? And then I looked her up, and her songs were like, She actually got me back into doing music after stopping for 6 years. Yeah, it was her songs, so she would be my main inspiration at the moment.
I know. I made you jealous by telling you that I've been to see her live. She is really quite special. She's very, very special as a person, I think. And she has this cookie way of looking at the world, which is great. But yeah, she certainly makes people delve into a particular area of their personality, I think, through her songs. And that's something beyond her years, I'd say. Because she's really still quite young, and you think she's an older soul, I think, in a younger body. So yeah, she's an inspiration. Who else? Anybody else?
Definitely Evanescence. I've been obsessed with them since elementary school. And strangely enough, even this new song To Win, so far I already got a few comments saying that it sounds like Evanescence, even though there's no rock instrumentation at all. And I think that's a great compliment, because I am obsessed with them.
Amy Lee's got a wonderful voice. So any time that you get put in the same bracket as Amy Lee,
I saw them live twice, and I was blown away every time.
Yeah. And what about other types of artists? Are there any kind of visual artists that you particularly like, or you've drawn inspiration from, or film producers?
Film producers, I don't have anyone in particular, although when I was directing or like designing the set and the scenes for my music video, I researched a lot of films. like in the second music video, "Come On Little Human," I was watching Her, the movie, the ones that has the AI that fell in love with a human and then they left. So like a lot of the style, the colors, inspiration came from that film. Rewatch 1984 for reference, and
Again,
yeah, I don't know. I watch a lot of stuff, lots of movies and series, but I don't really have a specific.
you don't
person.
necessarily take it in the detail, but you take the detail of what you're watching on the screen in, and that's the bit that you reference. No, that's really good. So what's next for you? You know, obviously you've launched the one song today, and another one in the bag. Are you working up towards a whole album with this as a solo project?
Yeah. So for this first, I guess it's an EP because I have 5 songs planned.
Cool.
The concept of this EP is like alienation from your authentic self. It's a existentialism concept that like there's certain things in life that make you not be true to who you are, whether it's by you lying to yourself or by what society teach you or external pressures or things like that. So the lyrics of this whole EP explore different way that people can become alienated from who they truly are. So yeah, I have other songs planned, although I haven't started producing them yet. It's been hard to find time with the marketing for the music and my company that's unrelated to music as well. So I'm the person who maybe will release one song every half a year.
Yeah. Is there an ambition for the music long term, or is it, you know, you want to carry on this parallel path, etc., or can you become that you know a new breed of musician for the future? Maybe you know, at the end of the day, I talked to a number of artists about this a lot, that people are finding different ways of actually sort of connecting with audiences and putting their art out there at the moment. I mean, could you be you know, a TEDx speaker, for example, talking about business, philosophy, and delivering the music all at the same time? What would be the ideal stage for you?
Ideal? Well, I think at the moment, since my other job is actually my own company and I can't just leave that, like I'm still invested and interested in that as well. I do plan to I guess sell the company eventually, hopefully get acquired and maybe focus on music for a while. I don't know, because like when I think of famous people, I don't really aspire to be a famous person that has no privacy, I suppose. So I hope if I become famous, then it's like you said, like as someone who would do a TED talk or someone who would talk about psychology or philosophy, like people listen to what you have to say and what you think, but not in an obsessive fan paparazzi kind of way.
No, absolutely. A thought leadership type way, in a way, or you know, a philosopher type way. But you know,
hopefully, music philosopher.
I haven't seen anyone. One of the artists that I follow has released a number of albums as a book. So she got a record. Rather than a record deal, she got a book deal, and she wrote books and then released the album as part of a book. So the book was the main.
That's interesting.
Which is a way of doing it. Maybe you could produce a philosophy paper, and you know, sell the philosophy paper, and the music comes with it. That's never been done. Yeah. You know,
maybe.
I just think that there are ways forward for people who are perhaps more multi-dimensional going forward than necessarily just being seen as a musician, or just being seen as the businesswoman, or just being seen as that. I think you could, genres can mix. And when I say genres, not just genres of music, but genres of sort of business, philosophy, education, music, and bringing those things together. A friend of mine shared a wonderful TED talk the other day by a guy who's a lecturer, but he's also a very well-known jazz musician, and he was talking about the components of learning music and playing music together, but at the same time playing music and then showing bits of music, and the overall was a really useful experience for people to learn from. And maybe there's room to do that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, it's always interesting when someone connects a completely different field together, and like you come up with a new concept you've never really heard of before. So yeah, hopefully I can do something like that.
Well, I think if anybody can do it, it will be you, because you've obviously got quite a unique talent there in terms of your music. So thank you so much for joining me and talking to me today. I hope you didn't find that too painful.
Thank you. No, it wasn't as nerve-wracking as I thought it would be, because I don't see anyone else.
No, these things aren't nerve-wracking, and we got to have a fight with our neck stands as well. There you go, Sam.
My laptop's on my neck stand right now.
Oh, her laptop's on the neck stand. There we go. Look, there we go. So, folks, if you haven't seen one of these yet, that's a neck stand. Tamlin Tam, thanks for joining me today. Which one did you want to be known by the way, Tamlin or Tam?
Yeah, Tamlin. It's my artist name.
Okay, we'll go with that. Thank you for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll make sure we put the links in here. In fact, Sam's already done it to your YouTube channel. So if you've been watching this today, you want to learn more, honest to goodness, when you look at this video this afternoon, this one, to win, will you give up? You will be absolutely gobsmacked. So please do check it out. And if you like it, subscribe, because the next one will be coming out sometime later this year. Tamlin, thanks you very much for joining me. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye.